Hello, Motorsport Reg organizers. This is Tim from the Motorsport Reg customer success team, back again with another one of our organizer how-to videos. In this one, we'll dive a little bit more into products in Motorsport Reg. We'll take a quick look at what those are and how they fit into the scheme. And once you've watched this video, you should have a better understanding of what those are and how they can work within your event registration. So let's first take a look at our Motorsport Reg flowchart from our support website, support.motorsportreg.com. And when you click into this one for our flowchart, it explains what each of the parts and pieces of Motorsport Reg do, particularly within the form builder. So this is what we're looking at right here would be the products. So a product on a basic level is anything that you want to post a price for. It can even be a free entry as well, or anything that you'd need any sort of inventory count for. So say a standard product, which is indicated by the $ icon in the new version of Form Builder. That would be anything like, say, t-shirts, hot dogs, anything like that. You just really need a number of how many do I have to have ahead of time before the actual event happens. And then an entry product is one step beyond that. And that can also gather some additional details. And that's what would make an actual entry. That's what will also show up on the public attendee list if somebody signs up with one of those. So that's usually best to collect data such as like what vehicle people are bringing, what number they want to participate with, and then class and group, like what you see right here. This gives you the example for what you can actually collect with that. And then in the lower section here, it gets a little bit more specific as far as exactly what information you'd get from that. They can pull for your reports at the end of the day. So let's take a look at where those live within the program. So here we are back in our event settings. We'll navigate over to the form builder page to take a look at products. Actually, I think it's best to take one step back first. So going back to the flow chart here, before we can get to a product, we have to assign a segment to it. And what's a segment, you might ask? Well, that's just a good way to categorize your different products. So for an example, you could use it for a driver group versus like a worker or event volunteer group. So that way, if you only want to send out an email to, say, your drivers for an event, you can use the segment to do that within our reporting tool. So that's kind of best to help categorize folks. Or say for a multi-day event, you can use that to categorize Saturday drivers versus Sunday drivers. So those would actually live within the event segments in your event settings here. And for this particular event, since everybody just kind of falls into the same HPDE driver bucket, we only use the standard registration fee one that comes stock on this. So here you can also customize what classes are available or what groups are available. This works well if, say, you have a lot of experience based events where you only want to let beginners enter a certain number of classes, then you can limit that accordingly. And then similar, since we are offering memberships to purchase within this event, we did make a segment for those as well. So let me show you where those are used. So back to the form builder where we were. We'll look in the parts bin over here first. This is where you'll actually create any of your products. Looks like the verbiage is packaged here in the old school form builder. So you could create one brand new. Let's just take a look at some of these that already exist. So the $ will indicate just a basic product. And you can see here for this example, it'd be like that Cuban sandwich. This is where you can adjust prices as well. If you are going to use more than one price point during the event, rather than changing this, you actually want to clone this piece over in the form builder and call it something different. Like, let's say sandwiches day of the event are a little bit more expensive. You'll actually want to make a second product or package for that instead. You can use the same inventory items, so that way you'd still know how many get sold, but this way you can keep track of those different price points. So now we have the $5 one for anyone who pre-enters, and then for day of, it would cost a little bit more. So this would be just the basic products themselves to get you what the item is and then what the inventory count is. You can use our ordered inventory report later to get a specific list of these, and it's generally all or nothing. It'll pull everything in, and then you can start using filters accordingly to get what you need. Next, we'll take a look at the entry products, which they will look at this track day beginner one right here. And the car icon that you see next to that in the parts bin is what indicates that it is an entry. And on the classic form builder, the difference is right here at this package extensions. If you leave it at none, then it'll leave it as a regular product. But if we put entry on here, then that extends it to where we choose which segment that goes into, which bucket of the event, and then we can choose what details we want to collect beyond that within that entry. You don't have to select any of these if you just want to leave it as like a basic entry into the event. But this is where, say, if you want folks to choose what group they're going to participate in or choose what class their vehicle belongs in, this is where you'll make those choices. And then also, you can toggle whether or not they have to put in a vehicle at all, or whether they need to choose a participant number. So let's see what that looks like. So we'll go back here, and I need to toggle on my beginner to see that option. And there we go. Now we see our track day beginner, and now that I clicked off number, I have to enter something into the box here in order to register. And there we go. Then you can test it out, make sure they can get through registration okay. And then once people do start signing up, that'll give you some accurate inventory counts. And the entry works well for making reports of who all is entering the event or what classes they're racing in, things like that. And products are useful for getting an inventory count. How many will I need for this event? If you do have any questions beyond that, feel free to explore our other how-to videos or write in to our support team, and any of us will be happy to help. Have a good one.